5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start. Following the achievement of independence, a newly formed nation faced the daunting task of navigating a complex landscape marked by profound economic, social, and political challenges. The transition from a colonial past to an independent future was neither smooth nor immediate. The freshly established nation had to contend with a host of issues that threatened its unity, stability, and development. This essay explores some of the significant hurdles encountered by the country after gaining independence. One of the most immediate challenges confronting the newly formed nation was the division of territory resulting from the end of colonial rule. The country was partitioned, and millions of people were displaced as a result. This upheaval led to mass migration, communal violence, and deep social fractures. The sudden splitting of populations along religious lines created long-lasting tensions that disrupted the social fabric. The consequences of partition were felt for generations, as communities were torn apart, families separated, and societal wounds were inflicted that would take decades to heal. The sheer scale of this demographic shift presented immense challenges in terms of housing, employment, and rehabilitation. The task of maintaining national unity amidst such a divisive event became a central issue for the new government. In the wake of independence, the country was burdened with a weak and underdeveloped economy. Decades of colonial rule had left the country impoverished, with a largely agrarian economy and limited industrial infrastructure. The colonial rulers had exploited the nation's resources for their own benefit, leaving the population with little in terms of industrial capital, technological advancement, or modern infrastructure. The economic challenges were compounded by widespread poverty. A significant portion of the population lived below the poverty line, with limited access to education, healthcare, or basic services. Agriculture, the backbone of the economy, was riddled with inefficiencies and a lack of modern agricultural practices, resulted in low productivity. The majority of the population remained in rural areas, and a large section of this demographic struggled with inadequate access to food and resources. To overcome these challenges, the new government had to focus on industrialization, land reforms, and creating a self-sustaining economy. However, these efforts faced several hurdles, including limited financial resources, lack of skilled manpower, and entrenched socio-economic hierarchies. Another pressing challenge after independence was the development of infrastructure. The colonial rulers had largely neglected the development of transportation, healthcare, and educational systems in favor of serving their imperial interests. The new government was tasked with building an entire network of infrastructure from scratch, spanning transportation systems, roads, railways, energy supply, and urban development. Given the vast geography of the country, building infrastructure was a monumental task. There was a need to connect remote areas, facilitate trade, and ensure access to essential services. The government faced immense logistical challenges in creating a nationwide network for transport, communication, and electricity. Urbanization also posed a unique challenge. As people migrated to cities in search of better opportunities, the population of urban centers exploded. This led to overcrowding, lack of proper housing, and strain on public services such as sanitation, water supply, and healthcare. Education was another major challenge in the newly independent nation. At the time of independence, the literacy rate was extremely low, and a significant portion of the population had no formal education. The need for an educated workforce was vital for the country's economic and technological advancement. However, overcoming centuries of educational deprivation was no simple task. The new government had to focus on expanding access to education, particularly in rural areas. This meant not only building schools, but also ensuring that they were accessible and affordable. Additionally, the curriculum had to be revamped to ensure that it was relevant to the needs of a rapidly developing economy. There was also the need to create institutions for higher education, where skilled professionals could be trained to meet the demands of the workforce. Skill development was equally important in the context of a country where many people depended on agriculture. Providing vocational training and technical education to the masses became essential for boosting productivity and improving living standards. The challenge was not just the quantity of education, but also its quality, as the system needed to cater to diverse needs in a vast and culturally varied population. In the aftermath of independence, establishing a functioning political system and ensuring stability was a major hurdle. The country, which had never experienced democratic governance on a large scale, faced difficulties in adopting and institutionalizing democratic practices. There were deep-rooted regional, linguistic, and ethnic differences that posed challenges to unity. The political system had to balance the interests of diverse communities while ensuring that the country remained united. Moreover, the process of nation-building required creating a political framework that could effectively manage the complex administrative and governance needs of a newly independent country. Establishing a system of laws, implementing reforms, and creating institutions for law enforcement were all necessary steps in maintaining governance. Corruption and inefficiency in the political system further complicated matters. The new government needed to instill a sense of accountability and transparency while grappling with the vast challenges posed by an underdeveloped and fragmented society. This process was slow and often faced resistance from vested interests. The country faced the challenge of dealing with insurgencies in various regions. The diverse ethnic and linguistic groups that formed the population often felt disconnected from the central government, leading to periodic outbreaks of violence and demands for greater autonomy. The challenges faced by the newly independent nation were immense and multifaceted. From the trauma of partition to the complexities of economic development, social equality, and governance, the task of nation-building was an arduous one. Overcoming these challenges required not only policy interventions but also the active participation of the people. The progress made in the decades since independence is a testament to the resilience and determination of the nation. While many challenges persist, the journey toward a more prosperous, equitable, and stable society continues, grounded in the lessons learned from its early struggles. Stop.